You didn't have an Xbox, not lying.
What?
I think we kind of plateaued in terms of graphics. Now that you mentioned that, because now I don't feel blown away by graphics anymore.
You know what it is? I'm gonna tell you what it is. I think it's because right now with the new consoles, they kinda, this is just a small emphasis on kinda. We're just starting to get that PC kind of fucking graphics out of consoles now.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of these developers and shit have had to dumb down what the fuck they can do because there's certain chips and technology out of that bullshit inside of the older consoles just couldn't keep up with like what a PC can do almost. Like you man, you look at what's inside of like these new consoles and shit, and they got some pretty fucking crazy shit. And now it's like it's just developers are now in this position where they can finally kind of push what they're doing to like a little bit further. Like I think right now it's just that there's nobody who's has anything out to kind of show for like what the new fucking technology could do. You know
Like
what
for
I mean?
the new consoles, basically.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, like nobody has a game on. I mean, that's why I feel like my Xbox is kind of boring because like every game that comes out right now is being made for niggas who still have the old Xbox.
Yeah.
And then I even just thinking about it now too. There's a shortage of like apparently these chips and everything that like these new consoles use. So now, that means not everybody has a new Xbox or PS5 yet. So now it's kind of you're in this situation of, yo, do we even need to like, expedite these games pretty fast right now if nobody has them? Like,
Yeah, for them, I know for them, they're probably looking at it like, nah, because it's like, what's the point? Especially because of COVID, like, no one was really trying to cop a new Xbox at that time.
yeah, like I mean, just from the E3 thing alone, it's like E3 is just showing all these developers that are like, yo, like now we have all this technology, we can do this type shit, and you just kind of gotta wait for it to come out. Like a lot, everything's still new to everybody, and not everybody has the new thing yet. So it's kind of like this weird position of
It's transitional period right now.
yes, and COVID did not make anything easier. So I could imagine how nothing does feel kind of all right for I think we talked about it before way back, but Cyberpunk, for instance, that game technically was made for like the older gen consoles and shit still. The way how they marketed and everything, and the shit that they promise or whatever out of it, you would expect it to kind of get some crazy ass visual looking shit, blah 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 blah, for the new consoles. Till I learned that that's not what they've been doing, and they have like a next gen update to show like what it can really do, like down the future. But it just goes to show that like there's no games being really made specifically for these new gen shit. Like it's just a bunch of shit that's being made for the previous gen shit, but it looks really fucking good on the new gen shit.
They just need like a trade-in thing, like how they did it for the black Xbox.
No, you're on a different thing right now. We're saying how like the graphical changes aren't like the graphics nowadays, and there's nothing that's blowing you away because nothing's really looked nice, well, to us in a minute, kind of. I'm saying, and I was just
based on the graphic thing he said, they're not really wowing you anymore.
Basically, like, yeah, saying like graphics really haven't been booming. Like, when's the last time you really been wowed by graphics in a minute?
Destiny.
Like, Destiny's
graphics don't look that sick.
No, it does not.
Not on console.
I mean, we're also limited on console. I'm pretty sure on PC it's a whole different spectrum.
Yeah, it looks amazing. But that's what I was saying. Like, it just feels like it kind of like before we would slowly always get better in graphics, but I feel like ever since I guess as new gen consoles came out, we haven't gotten that boost again, you know?
And I was just telling them that like a lot of these developers are now just learning like what to work with like these newer chips and everything. Because I was telling them that these newer consoles now are like probably just like a tiny supercomputer now. You know what I mean? It's somewhat arguably comparable to a PC now. So it's like, all right, now all these developers have so much to work with now, and it's just that nobody's ever done it. Well, nobody has anything out yet for us to really see what can be pushed right now. There's been a 1-2 game still that like showed trailers and shit that you're like, oh wow, this has ray tracing. Like that's gonna be the biggest word you're gonna be hearing for a lot of these games now that are gonna be for new gen shit. Ray tracing. Ray tracing is like some PC shit, but like the chips that the PS5 and the new Xbox have, there's some next shit where like yo Marcus, who makes the chips again? Nvidia? No, is it no, it starts with the A. For the for the consoles.
Is it AMD?
AMD makes the chips now for the PS5 and shit. And this new chip, I swear, it's like they can update it, like I don't know, wirelessly or some bullshit. Like the chip could like learn.
It's basically
bullshit.
like firmware updates. Basically,
Firmware update. Yeah, like the chip could do all that shit. So it's like a brand new thing, and nobody just has nothing out for it yet.